rise and shine. So tough money, futures alive. Grab your coffee, let's take a ride. It's wealth and wisdom, time will rise. Author, investor, educating, sharing the wealth, building things you should do. From trust to thinking, it's all in us. Your guide to where this learning is right. Legacy matters to get it right. Dreams take shape with effort and sight. Rules and assets, life insurance plans. Building for your future with expert hands. So talk money and more. Building wealth with knowledge galore. Precipitation plans to grow. To read and watch your dreams overflow. From saving today to trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, taking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. From saving today to trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, taking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. And now it's time to run. So wisdom's your return. Invest, protect, and thrive for sure. Signing off is Soul Talks Money and More.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine for another edition of Soul Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmon Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. Hey, I am so noted, and I am so excited and so delighted to be here with you on July the 20th. Shout out to my big cousin, Lisa. You made the big 6-0, sis. You made it. Now, family, before we get into today's conversation, I need you to go ahead, call somebody, text a friend, wake them up and tell them Dr. Williams and Mr. Armstrong are on the radio. Oh, get up, because we got some things to talk about. Now, you know, when there is something negative to report that comes out of our community, it is always on blast. But that's not what this show is about today. No, ma'am, no, sir. We have some good news that you can use to start your Monday morning, to start your week off right. So go ahead, call somebody, text somebody, wake them up if you have to. It is time for us to report some good things that have occurred in our community. And as I say, before I get off into the conversation, I simply want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you. This past Saturday, let me just go back. If you have been listening to me over the past couple of weeks, you know that we have been promoting here at WNPR 90.1 FM an event that was held this past Saturday. It was the second attempt at our community engagement event called Each One, Teach One. And when I tell you this past Saturday totally exceeded my expectations, oh, that's an understatement. I witnessed something that reminded me that there is still so much good in our community, so much good in our community. Sometimes, if we're not careful, we'll spend so much time talking about what's wrong, what's not right, what we don't get right, that we fail to recognize and celebrate what is right. So today, this day, we are going to celebrate. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about crime. We are not talking about what divides us. We're not talking about gun violence. We're not talking about harm to our community. Today, we are talking about what happens when ordinary people decide to do something extraordinary. When ordinary people decide to do something extraordinary. Today's show is called When a Community Comes Together, Everybody Wins. Everybody wins. So as I say, go ahead and call somebody. We don't want you to miss this broadcast. But now, in case you cannot catch us live, either on the radio at WNPR 90.1 FM Or if you are not tuned in to our live stream on Facebook or YouTube, please go back at some point later today or later this week and catch the replay on YouTube or Facebook at I Am So Noted. That is IAMSEWNOTED. Because you don't want to miss this. As I say, all you have to do is pick up your phone. Look, you don't have to stroll very far before you see a negative headline. And sometimes that can be overwhelming. And so today we are sharing success. We are sharing what we get right, what we got right in our community. You know, we can be our own solution. We are our own solution. Yes, we have a lot of problems. I'll be the first to acknowledge that. If you followed the show for any time, you know Dr. Williams talks about problems. But also, you know that Dr. Williams is an advocate for solutions. For solutions. And one of the things you may often remember hearing me saying is this: we have got to stop waiting on someone else to solve the problems in our community. Stop waiting on someone else to solve those problems. Because sometimes we are, and I'll go back on record and say many times, we are the answer we've been praying for. And this past Saturday actually proved that. It proved that. Our second try at this, second annual Each One Teach One community engagement and back to school bash wasn't successful because of Dr. Williams. It was not successful because of me. I take no credit for that. It was successful because the entire community showed up. We came together on one accord to do something positive for the community, and we showed up. Now, people often ask, how do we change our neighborhoods? How do we change our youth? They're so out of control, oftentimes disrespectful. How do we reduce all this crime? How do we build stronger communities? Well, I'd venture to say Saturday gave us an answer to how we do that. One act of kindness, one volunteer, one donation, one lesson, one conversation, one child at a time. That's how we change communities. That's how we change communities. Not sitting at home on the couch in front of the television in the comfort of our beautiful homes. No, not strolling on Facebook, sharing everything that's negative that's happening in the community, commenting, going back and forth with people on social media. That's not changing anything. What changes people, what changes communities, what changes lives? One act of kindness, one volunteer, one donation, one lesson, one conversation, one child at a time. That's how we change our communities. Now, one of the things that is often baffling to me, and even there were some things that I observed about the event on Saturday, and I'm gonna go on record as saying this, and it's probably not going to be popular with a lot of people, but I'm not out here trying to win a popularity contest by any means. I'm too old for it. And at this point, if I hadn't won the popularity contest, it's probably not going to happen. So I'll just keep it moving. But I will go on record as saying this. We talk about the problems in our communities. We talk about the crime. We talk about the youth and how out of control they are. And I question something. You drive down many streets here in the city of Jackson, and you're not going to go too far without seeing a place of worship. You're not going to go too far without seeing some type of community engagement event or some type of organization that provides some type of support. And all of those things are nice and they're good. But my challenge to each of these organizations is it's time for us to start working collaboratively, working together. We are better when we work together, better together. We can reach more people, we can do more, we can have more impact. It's called collaboration over competition. Collaboration over competition. Now, one thing that made Saturday especially meaningful was that we didn't try to reinvent the wheel. We didn't try to do that. We collaborated. We partnered, excuse me, with We Care Church, who already had a back to school initiative plan. And instead of saying, well, that's not my event, that's your event, and this is my event, what we said was, let's do it together. Shout out to Pastor Charlie Clark and Lady Joyce Clark over at We Care Church. Shout out to them. When I went to them and I talked to them about doing this initiative there at the congregation, they told me they had an event already planned. And we came to the conclusion that we could merge the events and work together. And that's exactly what we did. We did it together. Now, can you imagine what would happen in this city that I just talked about, where all these churches, you can't go from here to there without seeing a place of worship? If two churches on the same block or within the same on the same street, or three churches on the same street came together and tried to do something together, can you imagine what type of change would come as a result of that? More churches, more nonprofits, more businesses. If we stopped competing and started collaborating. Because the truth of the matter is, y'all know, just like I know, there's enough work out here for everybody. The work is plentiful. It's the laborers that are few. There is enough needs in our community for all of us to serve. Not talking about being served, to serve. Competition asks, who's getting the credit for this? Collaboration asks, who gets the help? That's the mindset we need more of. Not worrying about whose name is going to go on the banner or who gets the credit for something. At the end of the day, we should all be concerned about God getting the glory. That's what really matters. Who gets the glory out of what we are trying to do in our community? You know, children, those children that were there Saturday, they couldn't tell you who sponsored that event. They didn't care anything about that. They didn't care anything about whose logo was on the flyer. They didn't care anything about who was passing out the school supplies. They care that somebody cared enough to show up for them. That's what they care about. That somebody took out time. What's the old song? I'm so glad somebody took out time and prayed for me. That's what matters to our children. That's what matters. So I encourage us as a community, if we want to see change, let's start being the change that we want to see in our communities. And the way that we do that, one way, is by collaborating with each other. Now, one of the things that was most impressive to me is what I saw people give. And I got to stop right here and just give a shout out to all my good friends that are checking in on Facebook this morning. We got people in the DMV area checking in, not on Facebook, I'm sorry, on YouTube. DMV, shout out to my good friend, Mr. Stephen LeBroy, my cousin LaRonda, who is generally following the show from California, is in sunny Florida this morning. She is already checking in. Homegirl Deirdre from Prentice, P-Town has already checked in. Mr. Body has already checked in this morning. So thank you to all of you. Minister John Taylor Jr. has checked in on Facebook. Thank you for following the show. As I say, go ahead and call somebody, wake them up this morning, because we have good news that we are sharing. We get so inundated with all of the negative that comes from the reports, whether it's from the media or other sources, social media, all of the negative things that are happening in our community. Today, let's make something positive go viral. Let's make what happened in the city of Jackson on Saturday at a little church in South Jackson, We Care Church, make that a viral moment. Not people acting, how sometimes we act, those are the moments that tend to go viral. But when people are doing something positive, people just stroll on past that. They scroll on past that. Nobody wants to see that. That doesn't matter. But I'm here to challenge that thinking. It does matter. We need to see more of it. Now, Saturday, as I said, one of the things that really, really impressed me was what I saw being given. And I mean beyond the school supplies that we gave away, beyond the clothes that we gave away, beyond the food, the snow cones, the popcorn. That's not what I'm talking about. What I saw people giving. One of the greatest gifts that anyone can give is their time. Money can be replaced. Possessions can be replaced. Time, on the other hand, time cannot. So Saturday morning, while many people were still sleeping, some of us were up and out bright and early, 6 in the morning. There were people that showed up to help set up. Because, of course, any event, any activity that you're having, you need 3 groups of people beyond the planning and beyond the people that show up. You need the people that show up to set up. You need the people that show up to help and work the event. And then you need those that stay around to help clean up after it's over. There were people that arrived early, bright and early. Before the sun started coming up, they were there helping to get everything set up. And they weren't there because anybody forced them. They weren't there because they were receiving any type of financial compensation. At least I didn't compensate them. I don't know. Pastor Clark and Lady Clark may have compensated them, but I don't think so. I think they showed up because they realized the importance of the mission. They realized what we were trying to accomplish in our community. Then there was this wonderful lady, you guys. I don't know. There were several people that said they saw or they heard that the event started at 7 a.m., which it did not. I think I repeatedly announced 8 a.m. on the show last week. I was on air on Friday, the day before the event, and I said 8 a.m. is when we start. But there were people there bright and early. I mean, there were cars lined up bright and early Saturday morning. But there was one lady that showed up particularly early. And she said, well, I'm just passing through. I thought it started at 7, and I just came by to get a few school supplies for my I don't even remember if she said her children or her grandchildren. And I said, well, no, we haven't started. But since you're here, since you decided to show up early, if you don't mind giving us a hand, we certainly would appreciate it. That lady rolled up her sleeves, jumped in, and everything that we needed her to do, from helping to stock the cooler, from helping to transfer, the meat from the kitchen out to the grill area, from helping to get the clothing out, so that it could be put out, so that people could go through them. She didn't complain. She didn't leave. She simply rolled up her sleeves and started helping. And in fact, she worked so hard and stayed so long, she literally sweated her hairdo out. Now, y'all know how we are about our hair. Y'all know that's a big deal. That's a real big deal. When someone sweats their hair out, they're really working. Now, that in and of itself, you guys, is commitment. That is commitment. And that is what community looks like. Some gave their time. And then there were those who shared their talents, our presenters, the people who came in to feed into our young people, who took time away from their own families, who took time away from their own businesses, who took time from the things that they had got going on. They took time to pour wisdom into our young people. And one man especially touched my heart, you guys, Mr. Maurice Johnson, or Mr. Mojo. He drove all the way from Louisiana to be a part of our event. We didn't pay him. We didn't entice him. We simply shared with him what we were trying to do. I had never even met Mr. Johnson. That was my first time interacting with Mr. Johnson. He did not receive anything. He simply decided to get in his car and drive here and volunteer. And I want you to think about that. He crossed state lines just to invest in somebody else's children. Somebody else's children. He didn't use the excuse, this is not my community. I don't live here. He didn't use the excuse, these are not my children. That's not my problem. That doesn't impact or affect my life. He simply took the time to come and to help. Now, if that's not love, I don't know what is. That's love, you guys. And we were so blessed to have him. And I thank him for taking the time to do that. We were also blessed with beautiful music from a gifted young lady whose voice inspired everyone in attendance. Oh my, that lady sang so pretty. And I'm sorry, I don't know your name, sweetie, if you are watching this morning, but your gift, oh, thank you for sharing with us on Saturday. There are some video clips circulating on social media. Go over there and check those things out, you guys. Then there were those cooks on that grill cooking up some good food. Oh my goodness, the food was amazing. The only thing I hate about that deal is I was too slow. I was too busy to get over there and get a turkey burger because I hear those turkey burgers were off the chain. But the food that I did eat, the little bit that I ate, I didn't eat a lot because I try not to eat too much when it's really hot like that and I'm outside. But what I did have was very, very good. And I even heard that they had some alligator on the grill. Now, I didn't get a chance to try that. I'm going to be honest with you. That my palate is not ready for that just yet. But I heard that it was very, very tasty. So shout out to the cooks who came through, who stayed on the grill. They were there early that morning cooking up the food. And they stayed until the event was over. And everybody that wanted something to eat was fed. Even people walking down the street that didn't even attend the event. If they were hungry and they wanted to eat, we were blessed and we were able to feed them. So I'd say thank you. And this morning, I have an in-studio guest that shared her talents as well. And I'm going to gloss over that for just a minute because she's going to be joining me here in the studio. But man, was I impressed with this young lady and what she came to share with the students that was there. And I don't even think she limited to the students. I think anybody that dared step up, she was there ready for them, ready for them. So in just a few minutes, we will hear from her. Some gave their time, some gave their talent. And then there were those who gave their treasure. Not everyone could volunteer, but many people still found a way to help. Some gave financially. We have a tendency to do that. I'll be out of town. I would love to attend your event, but I'll be out of town. Okay, well, just because you can't show up does not mean that you cannot support. We have got to get away from that. We can support things financially. And there were people who donated. There were people who donated school supplies. Some brought clothing. Others bought drinks. There were people that literally came in with coolers full of ice. It was very hot out there, humid out there. They brought coolers full of ice to make sure that we had what we needed for the children. Make sure they had continuous snow cones. Some brought cases and cases of water. And every donation mattered. Now I gotta give, and I hate calling names, but they're just some individuals that I cannot not recognize. First and foremost, I have to give a very special thank you to my WMPR 90.1 FM family, who always supports the things that Dr. Williams is trying to do. This station is known as the voice of the community, and certainly by their actions, the station has shown that they believe in community, and they continue to support efforts that truly make a difference. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you got foolishness going on, don't come over here to WMPR 90.1 expecting to get any support, because it ain't going to happen. But if you are an individual who is truly trying to make a difference in your community, my friends here are willing and ready to support you. I also want to recognize a young lady out of Hattiesburg, Miss Annie Walker. Annie follows faithfully on social media. She couldn't be here physically on Saturday, but Annie sent me a message and said, Sabrina, I am encouraged by what you're doing. I want to support your efforts. And Mr. Jones, I'm moving so fast, I don't always open my mail. Sometimes it may take me a couple of days. Sometimes it might take a week. If it looks like it may say due. Sometimes I don't always open it. So when I finally did open the envelope that Annie sent, she didn't just send a little bit. She truly fed into what we were trying to do. Let me just say this. Let me stop and say this right now. We live in an era where, people are really into social media, and social media has convinced us that we need more friends. I'm here to tell you, I want to challenge that thinking. What we need is more folks that are willing to support us. I better leave them friends alone. Get you some people that are willing to support what you are trying to do, especially if you are trying to do something positive. Get you some supporters. Annie didn't send a donation because it was me. She sent a donation because she believed in what we are trying to accomplish in the community. She supported the mission, even from a distance. And so we certainly appreciate her. Right before I go to the break, I have to mention another group of people that showed up. Let's see. One other group of people I want to mention, because, again, this is the good news. This is a good report. This is the type of show that we want to go viral on social media. Now, often we hear about what our first responders are not doing or what they get wrong. When I tell you what I saw on Saturday was so encouraging, I have to stop and give a shout out to our Jackson Fire Department. They were there as invited guests, but as fate would have it, during the event, one of our guests became overheated and actually passed out. And without hesitation, they stepped in, they stepped up, they responded with professionalism, they responded with compassion and care, and they deserve to be recognized this morning. Now, if they had done something that was negative, of course, many people would be putting them on blast. Our word tells us to give honor where honor is due. And this morning, we want to recognize them for their response and how they made a difference. Because I want you to think about it. The whole point of that event was to show and impress our children. Just think, our children were able to see. We had a whole session entitled Emergency Preparedness. They were able to see firsthand what emergency response looks like. And so that was nothing but God as far as I'm concerned. That was a God thing. Caller, good morning.
They're gone, Doc.
Are they gone?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do we need to take a break?
Yes, ma'am. We're getting ready to go to the break. And ladies and gentlemen, the guests will be in studio when we return. But more importantly, Doc, instead of going to your song is what we normally would do. And I have discovered some information that's going to help us get back to why things are the way they are and what we are not doing. And I've said this many times, as Black men, we need to get back on our job. So this is going to be a good fit, especially with respect to your guest this morning. And we're not going to play for about 2 or 3 minutes of it. Larry will give us time to get into the studio, and then we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Armstrong, will you cue that up for me and kill our mic? Thank you so much.
In 1964, a millwright named Eugene Dawson took his 11-year-old son into a barbershop on Hastings Street in Black Bottom, Detroit, and said almost nothing the whole visit. He did not have to. The boy watched his father take his hat off at the door, watched him speak to the oldest man before the barber, watched him wait for the chair instead of reaching for it, and shake 3 hands on the way out like each one mattered. The boy was not being entertained. He was being trained. By the time they walked back into the cold, he had learned 6 things his father would never name out loud. Most of those lessons went quiet the year that block came down. Eugene was not rare. Across Bronzeville and Sweet Auburn and the Hill District, Black fathers raised sons by example more than by speech, drilling a bearing into them before they were old enough to need a shave. It was never just charm, it was a craft, and in the world those boys were being sent into, it was also armor. Every gesture had a weight. Every word was measured, because where they lived, the wrong word cost a man more than embarrassment. These fathers turned dignity into a discipline so complete that their sons grew up doing it without thinking. They just thought they were carrying themselves right. We inherited all of it. Most of us were never taught a word of it. Number 17 took less than 2 seconds at a doorway and made a young man impossible to forget in a room full of strangers, and it is the exact thing trust researchers still measure today. Number 8 contradicts everything modern advice tells a young man about getting ahead, yet it built more loyalty on a single block than money ever could. And number 3, the rule the lodge men passed from father to son was why a young Black man could arrive in a city he had never seen and be vouched for by nightfall, though the vouching had rules of its own and breaking them cost everything. These 25 lessons were never about being smooth. They were about raising a boy who would be respected in rooms not built to respect him, and remembered in a country that worked hard to forget him.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Williams, we're going to do that, and I'm going to make sure that we run it in its entirety. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It talks about the principles that Black men in the old days, back in the 60s, 40, 50, 60s, that we taught young men. And you didn't escape that. And then the barbershop just was the college, to be honest with you. And it still holds true today. Yeah. So look, I'm going to get out the way and let you interview this beautiful guest. Man, I'm talking about she was live on radio for just a few minutes Saturday, but she never did miss her hair. She was and cutting and talking, but totally professional. And then I pulled up this morning. I said, "Who is this?" And I got out, and I said, "I've never seen a Black person 15 minutes early before a show." And what did you tell me?
Always early. Always early.
You always early.
Yes, I never like to rush. I don't rush.
I talked to her 3 minutes this morning, and I realized I don't even need to be in the studio.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for stopping by. Okay, love. Good morning. Good morning. If you are just tuning in, welcome to the second half of So Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmon Williams, and this morning show is a celebration. As I was saying in the first half of the hour, oftentimes in our community, we do a very good job of reporting the negative, and we talk about when things go wrong. But this morning, we are giving a report from our second annual Each One Teach One community engagement and back to school bash. And as I mentioned, there were people that gave to make sure that event was a success. Some gave of their time, some gave of their treasure. But this young lady that is sitting next to me this morning gave of her talent. She came there with clippers in her hand, had her own tent, had her own setup, and she serviced as many clients as sat in their chairs. So good morning, sweetie. I would like for you to tell the listening audience and the viewing audience who you are.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Sabrina Williams. I'm born and raised here in Jackson. I am a barber, stylist. I do dreads and haircuts for the Jackson area. I'm here with you this morning because Saturday was amazing.
Amazing.
It was amazing. It was my fourth time actually being at the church for the event. But this past Saturday, I want to thank everybody that came out that supported. It was just so much laughter, fun, encouragement for the kids.
Now, let me ask you a question, Ms. Williams. You said you are a barber, a stylist by profession. That's correct,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay,
License.
so let me ask you this. I saw a lot of people in and out of that chair on Saturday.
A lot.
How much money did you make? If you
Not a dime. It was all
so you mean the haircuts were free?
Free haircuts.
Okay, so this is what you do professionally. What and Saturday, okay, come on, Black folks. You know, Saturday, the line is out the door in the barbershop. The line is out the door in the beauty shop. That's one of the busiest days for people in that profession. What made you decide, hey, I could be making money today, but today is the day I want to just give back to the community? What made you decide that?
It's bigger than money.
Mm-hmm.
Money is good.
Mm-hmm.
Money is good, but you got to look at the bigger picture. I would rather be out here encouraging and being. I loved it. I was tired, but I enjoyed every moment of it. It's not always about money, but to shed that light, to let other folks see you're not alone. You don't have to struggle. You can look good, and you don't have to have a dime to look good. You know, not all the time, but just to get that at that moment, I wouldn't take it away. I would do it all over again.
So approximately how many heads? Did you keep a count of how many heads?
I tried to keep it count, but that was coming so fast. But once I got back and got settled, it was 13 heads all together.
Okay.
It was 13.
So the kids came over, and did you just do young children?
It was basically for the kids that's going back to school. So once they walk up, I'll be like, You going to school, you doing good. If you ain't doing good, you can't get a cut. You know, I talk to him like that. But for the most part, it's for the kids. But it was one guy that came with the fire department that waited until all the kids were done. So he stood there and he waited. So I said, okay, they done. I can take you. He didn't mind waiting. So it was one guy with the fire department that did come, and I did cut him because he was with the fire. But everybody else was kids going back to school.
Okay. Well, again, what about this? What do you think really inspired you to just say, I want to be a part of this? What made you decide?
First is the church family. I love the church family.
Okay.
First them, and I want to give a shout out to We Care Church. I love those. I love them. Love to be there with them. So of course, first thing first, them, and then the kids. Kids, I tell the kids, stay motivated, stay up, I'm steady sharing the light because it's a lot of depression. It's a lot of, people losing their way. So when it comes to kids, I try to keep kids as woke as possible, especially nowadays. Yes, ma'am.
And, we cannot understate the importance of grooming, personal grooming, and what that does for a person's self-esteem.
Yes, it does.
A lot of times these kids, I see, and particularly I talked to some young men Saturday, and I was telling them, don't walk around with your head down. You come from royal lineage.
When I started to cut, they'd be down in their head. Once I finna get in the mirror, they smiling, they happy. Then I see them playing after they got a cut, and I can see the difference. You can see the difference. That's why I say when you come in and book with me, you don't leave out the same. You're going to leave out smiling, happy, and ready to take on your day.
Okay, so you have your own business?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell us about it.
It's Chops and Locks. It's about appointments only. It's a booking site, Chops and Locks at squaresite.com. And that's where you get your booking. But I'm also on all platforms on Chops and Locks, CHOPZANDLOCZ, Chops and Locks.
Chops and Locks. Now, how long have you been in business?
I've been in business. I say when I started my barber license, it's been 6 years, but I've been doing dreads over 15.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So, one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing, and I'm go ahead and give my audience a preview. During the month of August, we will be highlighting young entrepreneurs. We'll have them in the studio because I think it's important for the community to know, especially in a time and in a season where we tend to focus on the negative.
Yes, it's been a lot of negative.
It's a lot of negative, but I think it's important for us to see and to know that there are young people, because I'm looking at you and I don't see no gray upside your head.
Oh, no, ma'am.
So you're a young woman,
yes,
but
ma'am.
It is important for people to know that we do have young people out here who are doing positive things.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me ask you this. What made you decide to become an entrepreneur and do your own thing as opposed to going to work for someone else?
Because of the one-on-one contact.
Okay.
One-on-one. I get to see it first off. I get to be there to witness it firsthand and see the transformation in their, appearance, not on their appearance, but in their emotions. And I can tell when somebody, need a little extra push, So yes, I would choose that over working in the day.
Okay. So, you starting a business is not for the faint of heart. It really is not. If a lot of times people think they want to be in business.
No. Yes, you have a lot of those out there that just want to have a title. Just want the title of being a barber, but when you come to book, they leave you hanging, or you go to book and they, let you down. But with me, you book with me, I'm gonna get you in. I'm gonna make sure you can't leave with what you came for.
Well, what's one of the things that I guess is most challenging for you as a young entrepreneur?
With getting a business started, is you got to do everything yourself. You got to be the maintenance. You got to be the manager. You got to be the accountant. You have to handle all those things on your own until you able to hire other people to handle those things for you. So when you first start now, you don't know which way to go. But with the hair, and I want to congratulate every stylist that's out there, because it's hard with booking and keeping up with things, but you got to be dedicated. You got to know I'm in it to win it, and I'm going to do what I have to do and get these clients in and out. But not only that, but don't look for the money out of it. You know, of course they gonna pay when you book, but as far as the enjoyment, I enjoy what I do.
Oh,
It's
and
a
it was
passion.
obvious on Saturday.
Yes, it's a passion. Even Saturday, even
It
though
was
I didn't
obvious.
make anything, but it's something I love
Enjoy.
to do. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So one of the things, community, that I want you to hear this, she said, and I heard this, so we're not going to gloss over this, is our young people that are starting businesses oftentimes struggle just getting started. Things like, booking clients or finding spaces to even locate their businesses in. There are so many struggles that they have. And just because you have the talent to do something does not necessarily mean that you have the business skills
mindset,
or the mindset to do something.
Yes.
And so that's part of the challenge of being an entrepreneur. But there are some things that we can do to support. There are some things that we can do to support our young entrepreneurs. And that's the conversation. Again, that's why Dr. Williams has chosen to highlight young entrepreneurs during the month. And perhaps you can come back to the studio. That's why I've chosen to highlight young entrepreneurs so that we understand some of the challenges that they face. And as a community, we can come up with some things that will work as viable solutions. Now, one thing that I have seen with the advent of AI, you mentioned booking sites. That's one of the things that I've seen a lot of stylists are going to.
Yes.
That really has freed up a lot of their time.
Yes.
So whereas you used to call in and stop, gotta stop. And
you don't have to call. You don't have to call. Go straight to the site. It's gonna ask you what day, what time. It's gonna send you a confirmation text after you book, and then it's gonna send you a 2-day notice before their actual appointment date. So it's very convenient for me, and I love it. Again, it's Chops and Locks at square.site. That's my booking app.
Booking app. Okay, that is wonderful. Well, I'm looking at the time, and I certainly don't want to go over time, but I do want you again to tell our listening and our viewing audience who you are and where your business is located.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Shanika Williams. My business name is Chops and Locks. Chops and Locks. CHOPSANDLOCZ. Chops and Locks, and it's appointment only right now. Right now, it's only by appointment, so you will have to book on the site or send me an email, chopsandlocks@gmail.com. You can send me an email, however you want to get in touch with me. I'm promised to get back with you. If you need help booking on the site, just hit me up. I'm on all social platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you got a TikTok, please follow me on TikTok on Chops and Locks.
Okay, now one of the things that I'm trying to think of how many times this has ever happened. Maybe I had one other time, but Miss Williams didn't just come into the studio and sit down in the chair. She came in the studio bearing gifts. She brought me a beautiful T-shirt, and it says, "Better days ahead. Stay motivated. One way." Tell us about this shirt.
You can't go backwards. You can't go backwards. You got to go forward.
That's a word.
It's gonna be hard times. Nothing is easy. I'm telling me, coming here today, it wasn't. It just wasn't by accident. You got to keep going. You got to stay focused. Stay motivated. It's so many people giving up. Don't give up. It's gonna work out. Don't get distracted. It's okay. Y'all promise it's all right. Better days are ahead.
And that's one of the things that separates the good from the great. The good will start to get discouraged, and they may turn around when things get tough. But the great, the truly great, are the ones that embrace the hard times, because one of the things that I have been doing lately is working on my mindset as well. And I try to feed positivity into my mind. So all y'all negative folks out there and negative spirits out there, oh my gosh, please stay away from Dr. Williams. Do not come this way. I rebuke all that in the name of Jesus.
I'm not gonna let you
No.
You gotta stay over there.
Yes, indeed. But we don't have too many problems with that, because our WMPR 90.1 FM listening audience, our Facebook audience, and our YouTube audience. It's filled with people who want to be encouraged, enlightened, motivated, informed, and we love our audience because of what they do to us and do for us. And as a matter of fact, I have to stop right here, Ms. Williams, and just say this. There were people who showed up on Saturday because they heard us talking about the event on the show.
Yes.
They followed the show.
Yes.
And they literally showed up and said, Dr. Williams, I came because I heard you talking about this on the radio. And not only did they come, they came bearing, gifts. They brought water. They brought ice.
Love. It was so much love out there. I was about all day. I was from like you said, I heard you say earlier, from before the sun came up.
Yeah.
It was, you felt the energy. And I was glad to be a part of it.
Well, we were glad to have you as a part of our event on Saturday. Now, let me tell you, okay, I'm going to tell you what I saw, and you can tell me if you saw this.
Yes.
On Saturday, I didn't see headlines. I didn't see stereotypes. I didn't see labels. But what I did see, I saw children laughing. I saw parents smiling. I saw volunteers serving. I saw strangers becoming friends. I saw young people who were respectful.
Yes, it was yes, ma'am.
Respectful, curious, engaged, eager to learn. I saw hope. Did you see that?
I saw a lot of it.
And
even though I was busy, I felt the energy. Not all the time you have to you can feel it. You can feel when something great is happening. And it was awesome. We Care Church, they did an awesome job. Thank the pastor, first lady, members, everyone. It was an awesome turnout.
Now, I know you were busy, but I'm going to tell you what touched me the most. We talk about community, but what I also saw, and I don't know if you know, I know, Mr. Jones, you were moving around quite a bit, but I saw diversity.
Yes.
I saw Black families that showed up. I saw white families, white people were out there. I saw Hispanic families. Yes. But most importantly, I didn't really see race. I saw neighbors. I saw people with common needs. I saw people with compassionate hearts like yourself. Yes. I saw people that were working together for a common good. And that's what community looks like.
It was a blessing. To see that and to be a part of that.
Yeah.
It was so much. It was so much from the water slides. Because the kids didn't know. A lot of parents said, I didn't know they was going to have the water slide. But them kids, they loved it. They loved it.
And it's amazing, Mr. Jones, how they came out of clothes.
One said, well, I didn't bring clothes for the water slide. And I'm saying that it's 100 degrees out there. Hot enough to the young lady passed out. Right?
Yes.
So now if a child go get on the water slide, when they get off the water slide, how long y'all think it's going to be before he dry? All right.
Not long.
That's not the issue with the child. And then after a while, they just got in it and it was off the chain. Look, Doc, let me say this.
Yes, sir.
We want to first thank you because you did it last year. And to organize an event like this, there's a lot of work on the front side. There's a lot of work on the back side. And then you got a lot of other things that you could be doing. So we're grateful, number one, that after last year, we saw young lives change, right? We saw young people that came there, they left. I can take you to a home now where a young man came there last year and they're no longer paying for lawn care. All right? Because the older one is teaching the young ones. And it's not just cutting the grass now. You got the edges. Your father was there. We want to send shouts out to him. But, I keep saying it. And what I started to play a few minutes ago is about 20 minutes long. And I'm going to find a segment to put that in. And then I'm going to play it in its entirety. Okay? Because it explains where we've fallen short with teaching these basic principles. Now, whether it's a barber or whether you're a welder or whether you're building a boat at Ingalls or whether you want a young man was there getting ready to go off and be a train conductor. You understand what I'm saying? And the family from Vicksburg. This lady listened to us on WMPR. She felt like that her children need to be involved. And what it was interesting now how that happened. Y'all continue to pray for me because I do some stuff. And I did when the young man, we was all there setting up, and my nephews was there, right? You remember the young one with the dread. So now, when this young man went and got in the car parked across the street, I'm observing, which is what we supposed to be doing, watching this stuff while things going on. So when he walked over and got in the back of this car, I'm thinking that was my nephew, right? Same length hair, same height. So I go over and asked him, what is he doing? He said, well, I'm playing on the tire. I said, no, I'll get out and come back over here. Not realizing that that was not my nephew. Two young men sitting in the car. One said, well, I'm too old for this. I said, no, if you think you're too old, we got something for you to do, right? We ain't talking about playing on the water slide. We got work to do. And both of those young men got out the car. I'm thinking one of my nephew, not realizing until I get back across the street that I'm talking to total strangers. But then I gave him an assignment, right? To watch the water slide. Since you that old, we need somebody to watch these children on this water slide. Very mannerable doctor. Yes, sir, no problem. And then later I found out that they were the sons of the young lady from Vicksburg. And then to hear her story, and one of them is graduating and getting ready to go off to be a train conductor, whatever. The other one, in the stories that was told there, and then the patience of Pastor Clark and Sister Clark to take time and listen, because sometimes people just need somebody to talk to.
Right. Yes.
You understand me? So it was a lot of mental health therapy going on out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
For all of us that was involved. But again, it was a total success. A brother pulled up on in a pickup truck. We got some donations. Okay, no problem. What you got? Bags of ice.
Bags. Yeah.
Cases of drinks. A young lady brought in. I started to try to keep a log of all those people that donated so we can make sure that we recognize and thank them. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see your city get better, that right there is the model for what it's going to take. It's going to take work, collaboration, a lot of prayer now, and then get back to doing the basic things in our community that we used to do, Dr. Williams, before my good friend said we became integrated, and then we go do things in other spaces and places, right? South Jackson needs a lot of help.
Oh,
and one thing that it did for me was, and I know this is absolutely what's absent, and then we'll come back because you can't put this into one show, because we got to come back and talk about the conditions that we saw.
Right. Yeah.
Now we telling people now today about all of the good things. We telling them about how all of whatever.
Yes.
But now we got to come back, Dr. Williams. See, that's why I get labeled, Brother Armstrong, for being negative, right? You got to come back, Doc, and talk about the conditions that we saw our Black women's in and our babies in. You understand? That was all off the chain, right? But we got to come back and talk about what we're seeing out here. And then we got to connect some resources. We can't send these people, babies, our women, back into the same environment and act like everything all right. Because it was some heartbreaking.
That's true.
You text me Friday evening, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You see, you mighty quiet over there now.
Yeah.
You text me. Why did you text me? Why do you send me that kind of information? All right.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, but you said to me like I don't have nothing else to do.
You have absolutely nothing else to do but save the community.
All right, so we're gonna come back and talk about that on the next show. We ain't gonna do nothing but set aside that whole show because we're gonna walk out these conditions that's in Jackson and people acting like. Because a few weeks ago, Armstrong, I was at a church and they working over in Ukraine. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't see how you can fly to another country and provide some resources. And we heard here I can show you a Ukraine and a South Africa right here in Jackson. Dr. Williams, if you would close us out here before we get in the world of trouble. God bless y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yes, you all right with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank
It
you
was a
for
pleasure.
being our in-studio guest today, Ms. Williams. As I close today, I want to leave you with this thought. Community. Don't underestimate what God can do through ordinary people who are willing to work together. Our community does not need more critics. It needs more contributors. It doesn't need more spectators. It needs more servants. The success of Saturday wasn't measured by how many backpacks or how many school supplies we gave away. It wasn't measured by how many meals we served. It wasn't measured by how many people attended. And there were hundreds that attended. It was measured by something much greater. It reminded us that when people choose collaboration over competition, service over self, love over division, good things happen. So here's my challenge. Don't let Saturday become just another event. Let it become a movement. You've often heard me say, I've been saying ever since we started this last year, still this. It's not just for me. It's not. Do it in your community. Let's have a day set aside where we're doing this all over Jackson. Let's let this become a movement. What can you do individually? Find one young person to mentor. Volunteer with one organization. Support one family in need. Attend one community meeting. Encourage one struggling parent. Because change in a community doesn't happen all at once. It happens one act of kindness at a time. One volunteer, one lesson, one family, one neighborhood, one community at a time. And if we continue to invest our time, our talents, and our treasures, I truly believe our best days are still ahead. Remember, be the change you want to see. Until next Monday, peace. Thank you, love. I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
I just came